Okay, hi everyone. This video I'm going to talk about a recent book that I read which has actually really changed the way that I think about social anxiety, because I always used to say that I was someone that had social anxiety when I was out among people, not all the time. I would get very anxious and feel very overwhelmed. But since reading this book, it has totally changed the way I think about anxiety, social anxiety, and myself as well. So I got this book from the library, from my local library. I'm always getting books out on personal development, self-help. I just find it quite therapeutic, and I love learning about myself, trying to improve either myself or any issues I think I might have. I just want to develop and grow and progress as a person all the time. So I don't read them all the time, but I go through phases. Anyway, this book is called The Highly Sensitive Person by Elaine Aron. And she is a psychotherapist, and she writes about people who call themselves, or who are, I don't know if you can be diagnosed as a highly sensitive person. I don't think, maybe psychologically you can by a psychologist. But this is for people who feel very overwhelmed in the world, and who feel very sensitive to stimulus. Now, I read this, I don't know what made me pick it up, but I think just at the time I was probably feeling quite sensitive to things, and I'm always trying to read and expand my knowledge on different things. So I picked this book up, and oh my god, it totally changed the way I think of myself and the way I think of social anxiety. Also, one thing I will say, you have to be very careful about the labels you put on yourself. For example, if you say, oh yeah, I have social anxiety, which is what I used to say, it makes, like, the whole concept around that is that you're scared of people. But after reading this book, it made me realise that I'm not actually scared of people, I'm just very sensitive to too much stimulus. So for example, sometimes I'm fine, other times I'm not. It depends on how I'm feeling at the time and the kind of situation I'm putting myself in. So, for example, I get on better when I'm with like one or two people. I feel calmer, there's not so much to take in. But when I go out to an event or something, sometimes I'm fine. If I go straight into an event where there's lots of people, lots of music, lots of things happening, if I feel I've got the capacity or I feel calm enough to be able to analyse and take it all in, then I'm okay. But there are other times when I will go, say, from my house to meet a friend, and then we go to an event or something that's going on. And it's only looking back that I realise it's not that I have a fear of people, it's that I get overwhelmed by too much stimulus, and it makes me feel very overwhelmed. So yeah, if I go out with a friend to an event and then there's loads of music, I'm thinking of a specific event I went to locally. There was like music and people dancing and people drinking, lots of different things. And then, so my friend was trying to talk to me, we were trying to catch up about things that had happened, but at the same time we were walking. At the same time there was different music playing from different places, it was crowded, and I started to feel like I can't take everything in, there's just too much going on. Since this event, and looking back on it and reading this book, it all comes together. And I just want to make this video to appeal to people out there. If you think that you have social anxiety, you have to read this book, and it will, I'm sure it will change the way you think about yourself, for many people anyway, maybe not everyone. But for me, like, I no longer say that I have social anxiety. I guess what I would say is, seriously, read this book. If you have a library near you, you can get it out at the library. Otherwise, I will put the link below so you can buy the book from Amazon, or yeah, either library or buy the book. Just get hold of the book. It is so good and totally changed the way I think of social anxiety. It could free you. I mean, it could free you from your beliefs. Any label is limiting. If you call yourself, like you say you have some sort of mental health condition, it does make you believe that. The more you tell yourself that, the more you're going to keep yourself stuck in that state of mind and with that label. And it will be harder to break out of that, because your concept of yourself will have to completely change for you to break free from that label, if that makes sense. So I've digressed quite a lot in this video, but I just wanted to put this out there because this book, like, you might not be socially anxious. You might just be very sensitive to stimulus, to too much going on. And especially, I think, as an introvert, okay, another label, but people who like to spend a lot of time on their own, they need that to replenish their energy levels. I think that's just a natural thing. Like, if you're used to being a bit more solitary than normal, well, what's normal? If you're someone that's used to being more solitary and spending time on your own, then that's natural for you to feel anxious in certain situations where there's loads of people. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Don't beat yourself up. Don't say, oh, what's wrong with me? It's just the way that your nervous system is programmed. And you can change this as well. Like, nothing is set in stone. You can train yourself to change in any way that you want. It just takes practice. Everything is practice. Everything is just changing the wiring of your brain. Yeah. So this is such a rambling video, but yeah, just read this book. If you think you have social anxiety, read this book. That is the only book that I've read that really, like, has changed my concept of a label I've put on myself. So I think I'll leave it here now, because otherwise it's going to be a very long video. I will put the link below for the book. Also, yeah, check out your local library, because I think, this is for another video, but libraries, they're amazing. But anyway, that's for something else. So I will finish this here. I hope this video is clear enough for you to understand and gives you a bit of hope if you're someone who thinks, or someone who has labelled yourself, or who has social anxiety. I'm not saying that you don't either. I'm just saying this is my personal experience, this is what's happened for me, this has helped me, and it's changed the way I label myself. Okay, so I will leave it here, and I will see you in the next one.